Sarah and Angelina Grimke were born in Charleston, South Carolina, to John Fosherod Grimke, a Chief Justice of the South Carolina Supreme Court, and Mary Smith Grimke. Sarah, born in 1792, and Angela, born in 1805, were two of 14 siblings. Their father was a wealthy plantation owner who owned hundreds of slaves and advocated slavery and subordination of women. Sarah wanted to become a lawyer, however, her father denied her a higher education. Sarah and Angelina went on to advocate for women's rights and abolitionism. My guests today are Sarah and Angelina Grimke. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So what have you two been doing lately?
Recently, I wrote a book called American Slavery as It Is, which documents the evils of slavery in the South.
I know you two grew up in a big family. What was that like?
I was practically raised by Sarah, who then became my godmother. Her views on slavery were extremely influential to me.
Angelina and I were two of 14 children, and I, as one of the oldest, had to take care of most of my younger siblings.
You two were brought up in the South and your own father was a slave owner. How has your upbringing shaped your views?
As a child, Angelina and I were exposed to the horrors of the treatment of slaves, which we witnessed every day on our plantation.
One of the things I witnessed was one of the farmhands brutally beating a slave. At that moment, I knew that slavery was inherently wrong, and I began to become interested in the abolition movement.
You two became prominent advocates for abolition of slavery very quickly. How did this come about?
When I was 12, I started to secretly teach Bible classes to the slaves on our family's plantation, and I also taught them how to read and write.
I wrote a letter to the abolitionist William Lloyd Garrison, who published it without my knowledge in an anti-slavery newspaper, The Liberator. My letter became controversial, and that was my entry into the anti-slavery movement.
And how did this background transition into fighting for women's rights?
Well, I had wanted to become a lawyer, but my father had deemed it unwomanly. And so my brother had become a lawyer, and I was unable to, which made me realize that women should have equal education and overall equal rights.
We both strongly believe that fighting for women's rights is a moral and religious task, and it is also politically right.
What do you envision for future societies regarding these issues?
We have both been integrated into the Quaker community. I believe that their model is one of an ideal society, as they have progressive views on equality and slavery.
You two are so inspiring. Any final thoughts?
I know nothing of man's rights or woman's rights. Human rights are all that I recognize.
I appeal to you, my friends, as mothers. Are you willing to enslave your children?
Thank you so much. My guests today have been Sarah and Angelina Grimke. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.